Hello friends. So this is where we are. We're in my kitchen. Well, you can see my kitchen, dirty dishes back here and all, because I knew that if I took the time to set up, that I would lose the excitement that I have right now. Because Chrissy just finished her first really thorough study of the tarot. So yes, I've taken courses. I've read cards for 5 years, but this is the first time that I've ever taken a book and worked through the entire deck and made it an official Chrissy type study that I made my own. I gathered my own resources. I made my own little plan, and 202 pages later, I'm done. I started when I got my decks on January 5th. I finished it today. Today is the 21st of March, right? My internet's due tomorrow. That's the 22nd. So yes, today is the 21st, which I think is really, really fitting because with Ostara being yesterday, I can start spring in my new decks in my new study today, actually. I've got stuff all over the place. I'm hoping I don't turn anything over. So I'm going to show you what my previous study looked like, what my winter decks were, my winter resources, and then moving into what my spring resources will be. And like I said, I sincerely just prop my phone up on the computer screen exactly where I was sitting, So this may be a little chaotic. So the main reason I decided to do this super organized study of tarot was I taught tarot school. Where I say taught, we're still in the middle of it. We're a little more than halfway through. So it's really important to me to have an organized structure of my own, an organized resource of my own as I went forward. So the way that my first tarot book is structured, this is a a really nice dark teal. It's a Lurkstrom. I can never say that word. But the way it's organized is I have the front of the book starts with each of the cards as my bookmarks fall out. And then here are the page numbers of where they are in the book. So the order throughout the book goes through the order that we are studying the cards in Inner Wands Tarot School. And part of my intention for teaching this course was to really learn how to relate the cards to each other, for the cards to make a conversation in a non-linear, non-organized way, to really be able to sink into our intuition in this process. So I started with the Tower. That was the first card we did, and then moved through the entire 78 card deck with a variety of resources that I consulted for each and every card, that then I boiled down into into a little lecture. So I started this again. The first day was January 5th. Is that right? Yes. And I finished the last card today on March 21st. Let me put my bookmarks back in here. I'll get them in a minute. So I used 3 decks through this study. Is the third one in my bag? Yes, it is. And I'll be doing the same for my spring cycle, which will be for Tarot School Round 2. But I wanted to structure the decks that I was studying, 3 decks. So a deck that was a more art-based deck, which is what I really resonate with. A deck that was a Rider-Waite-Smith, those 2 being my study decks, and then the third deck being a practice deck. They ended up going very well aesthetically together, the 2 study decks, but the practice deck was a total looks completely different, as you'll see when I show. And I mean, the bags show that as well. So the artsy deck that I used was the Pagan Otherworlds. So this deck, every single card in this deck is in my study guide. I feel very connected to this deck. It feels like the first deck that I actually feel like I know what, I have a connection to every single card because I studied every single card in this deck. Of course, with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, over the course of years, right? I've seen all of the cards, but this Pagan Otherworlds deck will be very special to me for that reason. I'm not going to close that yet. And then the Rider-Waite-Smith that I chose is the Tarot Vintage. And this deck, it's beautiful. It's the first Rider-Waite-Smith that I've come upon that doesn't assault my eyes. It's a very antiqued vintage, as the title says. I really, really enjoy this deck. And it pairs very well with, let's hold up one card at a time, Chrissy. How about that? It pairs really, really well with the Pagan Otherworlds. I really enjoy these two decks together. Now I can put them up. So these were the two decks that I studied. These are the two decks that I copied and shrunk down and pasted into my study guide. However, the deck that I practiced with could not be much different visually. And the deck that I practiced with is the Dream Visions. I can never remember what this deck is called. This deck is amazingly, stunningly beautiful. It is a great intuitive reader, but it also has some surprising, but very well done connection to the Rider-Waite-Smith. So we have the lion in the Strength card and her hugging the lion. Oh my gosh, the Queen of Swords is just beautiful. So I'm still working on recording all of the lessons for tarot school. Like I said, we're halfway through. But this has been a very, look at this death card. This will be another deck that by the time I'm through, I will have studied every card in this deck. So I'm very excited to have this deck now as a deck that I studied both intellectually and intuitively. I like it a lot. So looking at the resources that I worked with throughout the winter for my first round of preparing for Inner Wands Tarot School. If you, I'll give more information on each of these in an old video I did of favorite guidebooks, but that's mostly the stack of resources that I studied from, but I'll walk you through them. I have everything, almost everything, in the Seed and Sickle commemorative box. All right, I'm not gonna knock anything over. So this is what I use to study for round one. Albus is getting a snack. So if you hear little chomp chomps, that's my Albus cat. I read through, took notes from Tarot for Chains by Jessica Dorr. Also, I restarted and finished up the most recent iteration of Tarot for the Wild Soul from Lindsay Mack. The guidebook from the original Kawaii Tarot. There is another deck with this name, but this is the one that's very pippish. The cards, like this is the Magician. My decks are upstairs, but these are the images that appear on the cards. Super cheap. I think it's like $12 for the deck and the guidebook. This is one of my favorite. This hair is driving bonkers. This is probably my favorite tarot guidebook. The guidebook for the Mesquite Tarot, for the Elemental Power Tarot, the Affirmators Tarot, the Light Seers Tarot, the Spacious Tarot, the Samia Tarot, the Muse Tarot, and of course the guidebooks for the Pagan Other Worlds and the Tarot Vintage. I did not use the PDF guidebook for the Dream Visions Tarot, mainly because I forgot about it. I forgot there was one, and then I remembered there was one, and I printed it up, and then I don't know what I did with it. So there is a PDF guidebook. It has 4 columns per printed page for the Dream Visions, but I did not use it. So now I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit, and then I'll show you what I'm doing for round 2. So as I was organizing my space, I also remembered something else I'm really excited about switching out, and that is my little crafty bag. This is a bag from Birdling. This is what I've carried for, I don't know why I showed you up when you can see this way, for my glue, my washi tape, my stickers, everything that I've used in my tarot guide. So I'm going to be switching these out. So I'll speed it up for you, but I'm going to empty this bag of things that are not necessary. So I'll be right back. All right, so here I am with my empty little Birdling case. Birdling, by the way, is the brand. And the things that I am putting back in this case are my Post-it note flags. By the way, what I took out, I'll show you this, are all of my neutral colored washies that went with the more neutral colored decks. So now I'm putting back in the things that will, that I want to use for my next set of decks. So I have these Post-it note flags. I've had these forever. They're not the Post-it brand. These circles that I love for page markers. I have random stickers. These Martha Stewart little teardrop flags. Is anyone else still hoarding these from like 10 years ago? I still have all of these and I love them. They go in every box. I have some stickers from Once More with Love, some stickers that my friend Julie sent me, and some stickers from Whimsical Cat Studio. They just go in whatever bullet journalish bag I have. Who knows if I'll use them or not. Some page tags. Ah, here it is. This is the tape I really like. This is the backup tape, along with whiteouts and an eraser. I'm trying to figure out, that's sticky. I need to clean this out. I'm trying to figure exactly how I'm going to do this. So we're just going to do this in phases. This is my new washi tape that I'm using. So you can see this is more of a primary color scheme than a neutral color scheme. Digging through my my washi tape stash. These are the printed ones that I pulled out. I don't know actually how I feel about these 3 because they are more pink than red in the in that spot, but I'm throwing them in here anyway. Who knows if I'll use them or not. And then I have these 3. These are washi tape rolls that I bought 3 of because Chrissy has a problem. But they come off in little single primary color circles. And I like them a lot. So I bought a lot of these for page markers and such. There are, it's not in English. I want to say there were like 100 dots to a roll, and I bought 3 rolls. They're from, I got them from Jet Pens. And then some more Martha Stewart stickers because, of course, with, I don't know how that got in there, or that. I don't need either of those things. And then an Oracle card that I love. So I don't know how I'm going to do this yet. I've also decided to use Papermate Flares. Here we go. Papermate Flares in my next journal and my next study. I may just throw all of these in here. I don't know. I may carry both containers. I may put some of the pins in the outside pocket. I don't know. Oh, other things that go in here. These are the Charmcast tarot tiles. I keep them in this bag, 1, so I don't lose them, and 2, in case I'm ever somewhere and don't have a paper deck, I always have a deck with me. And then because I'm working on a secret project, I'm also carrying a little bag of crystals where there is a crystal for each chakra. This is the same set that I do Reiki with. So yeah, I'm carrying these in my tarot bag for study. And these just go, I'm actually gonna put the crystals in the main container down at the bottom. And then the notebook that I am using for, whoa, that's heavy. I think I need to reevaluate carrying both the crystals and the charms. I don't think I'm gonna carry the charms because that made it really heavy. So just the crystals. I really need to clean the inside of this. I'll do it. And then the journal that I'm using for the second round is a silver Lookstrom. I really wanted an Archer and Olive. I really like Archer and Olive. I like that the paper is white instead of cream. But have you tried to buy an Archer and Olive notebook lately? Like they're gone as soon as they're posted. And that simply is not my life. So this was an old, I actually started this journal as a book of shadows at some point. It was like 2018 was the date on the first page that I cut out. There was only 1 page with writing on it, so I cut it out and boom, brand new notebook. I know I could have left it. So I'm going to tell you the decks and the books that I am using as my spring study for myself and to prepare for Inner Wands Tarot School Round 2, which I'm planning to start sometime in May, probably, to open registration in April and to start Tarot School in May. So I'm using, I know the study decks that I'm using, so we're going to start there. So looking at the art deck, I am using the Tarot for the Drowning World. So I bought this deck and I was very interested, and then there's one card that I find disturbing. So I've got to figure out how to work with the deck. Unless it just shows up, I'm not gonna point it out. But this deck is visually just stunning. And it's very similar to the feel of the Somnia Tarot, where we have the figures, but a lot of them aren't looking at us. I just think there's so much to learn from an art style deck, from getting out of the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition as closely. I'm very excited about this deck. The minors are very pippish, which also will get me out of my comfort zone. I'm very excited to learn from and study this deck, with the exception of the Four of Swords. I won't show you. And that's a bummer because I really like that card. But I'm not excited about it. And my hesitation was the suits are in French. So I had to look around for context clues to see which card it was. So this is the Tarot of the Drowning World. And the fabric, I still need to put the elastic on the case. but the fabric came from the Spoonflowers Etsy shop. And I think it's a really good match. So that's my artsy deck for round 2. My Rider-Waite Smith deck is the, do I know what this is called? Do I believe in? Yes, the Liber Florum Tarot. I found this on Etsy. I was honestly just looking for a deck that was Rider-Waite Smith, but primary colors to go with, and also the flowers to some degree, but I was more interested in the primary colors, and I really, really like this deck. They've added some diversity to the deck, which is really nice. And I like the way that they use the florals, where all of the 4s have the same flower and all of the 7s have the same flower. So it's causing me to think differently about the flow of numerology through the suits. So I am excited. I'm excited to use this deck. And again, I think it goes really, really well. It's in the box. I'm not going to open it up. But it goes really, really well with the Tarot for the Drowning World. And I just... And the card, I edged it in green. It was not edged when I got it. I edged it in green to match the backs. And it's a really nice matte, but still slick cardstock. You couldn't see me. You're out. I'm out of frame, but it bridges and shuffles really nicely. Again, this is the Liber Florum Tarot. It was very affordable. So with the practice deck, I'm going to be using, I thought I knew the deck that I was choosing, and then I saw Garden Goddesses Tarot, her walkthrough, Thea's walkthrough of the Lilifer Tarot, and I ordered it. So I envision this deck, because I've worked with it for a while, maybe being knocked out by the Lilifer, but we'll see. As of right now, the study deck I'm going to be using is the Tarot for the Mystical Moments. And both of these fabrics also came from Spoonflower. And I mean, is there a more perfect bag for the Tarot for Mystical Moments? So this is, as of right now, this is going to be my study deck through this process. I may end, or my practice deck. I may very well, oh, that card smudged really badly on the back. Huh. I may use this and the Lilifer. I don't know. I don't know. I may teach with this one and then actually practice with the Lilifer, or vice versa. I don't know. My intention has been 3 decks. It may be 4. So the Tarot for the Drowning World, the Flora one, whose name I can never remember unless I'm looking at it, and the Tarot for Mystical Moments. And then finally, so like I can let you all go, the resources that I'm going to be using for my note-taking, for my personal growth inside of this next round of teaching. I've gone a little bit deeper, and I'm actually going to get started with some of these today, this evening. It's beautiful. I think I may go sit somewhere and eat pizza outside for dinner. I'm rambling. So my personal study through this process. The first book I have is Tarot and Psychology, of course, as this fits right in with my mobile job. I'm very, very interested in this book. It was written, I want to say a long time ago. It was written in 2000. So I recognize that there's some probable outdatedness in here from both a tarot and a psychology perspective, but I'm curious enough about it that I'm in. I'm also really excited to look at this, the Ultimate Guide to Rider-Waite Tarot, mainly because of the the way that it goes through each card with the symbols and the colors and what's going on in the background. I avoided Rider-Waite-Smith until the Tarot Vintage because it hurts my eyes. So I'm really excited now to have this new floral copy as well, to be able to connect with the historical piece even deeper than I have with my last study. This is the guidebook for the Tarot for the Drowning World. I understand that this is water and like connective tissue. I get that, but I'm not real happy about the match of the front and the back of the cards, but that's neither here nor there. I've got Rachel Pollack's Tarot of Wisdom. I've got the Tarot Handbook by Angelis Arin, which I'm very excited about digging into. And then for my self-study, I have Tarot for Yourself by Mary K. Greer. So my stack of resources for study for the second round definitely got heavier, but there are fewer than last round. Last round I had, granted most were guidebooks, but I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 resources per card. And now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because Tarot and Psychology is actually what I'm going to read between now and when I start individual card study, which will give the Lillifer time to get here so I can decide what I'm doing. I rambled way too long and now I'm hungry. All of this to say, yay me, I finished Tarot Study Book number 1, and I am ready to take Tarot Study number 2 and Tarot for Psychology and go have some dinner. All the information for Inner One's Tarot School will be listed below if you want to join me. I will be, timeline is still iffy. There's a few things up in the air with like personal things, personal travel I have this summer that I want to make sure that I keep in mind and don't have anything like due as a teacher while we're in Montreal. So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself that this calendar year, I wrote 202 pages. That's all. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.